back from the dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're all invited to go fucking mental on this motherfucking drop. The countdown has just begun. Are you ready? Let's go, 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 go.
Now we're back from the dead. We're back from the dead.
Hell yeah.
Back. We're back from the dead.
Are you ready? Let's go, 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 go. Back from the dead.
We're back from the dead.
Hell yeah.
We're back from the dead. Back from the dead. Back from the dead.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. It's yours truly, Krystal. I've been gone. I disappeared. I have a cough drop in my mouth. I'm probably talking funny because of the cough drop. I guess I could take it out. I am here today to not do a paranormal stream, but just to do a hangout stream with you guys for a little bit. Basically, I've had a lot of questions on where I've been and what's been going on, and I don't know, I've always been really transparent with you guys, so I thought, let's just, talk it out. I was planning on doing a pre-recorded one and, uploading it to my YouTube channel, but honestly, it hasn't happened. I don't know if it's actually gonna happen, and we'll get into the deets why in a minute. I hope everybody's surviving quarantine. I tweeted yesterday, what was I like? I think I'm on day 25 or something. I literally can't even keep track. I feel like all of the days are blending into one. I'm sure you guys feel the same. What did I tweet? I'm going to look back at my tweets. isolation day 26. Great. So, I have been out to like the grocery store, and I have had doctor's appointments and stuff like that. But other than that, I've been home. So anyway, crazy times, right? Like, I'm sure you guys feel the same, like how weird, everything is that's still going on. It almost feels surreal. I think that when this first started happening with the whole coronavirus thing, everybody was like, oh, like, it's not going to last long. It's not going to be that bad. Like, government is like overreacting. And now, like, shit's getting real. Like, you have like, what, 1.5 million people that have it, or almost 1.5 million people. And people are dying. And they predicted Florida in the United States. Florida, because of Disney World. New York, because obviously that's just our hub of like the United States, and Nevada, because of Las Vegas, to be the worst states with the coronavirus. So our governor like shut that shit down really quick. He was like, nope, we're not gonna let the Nevadans die, thank God. We do have about, I think it's like 1,100 or like 1,500 cases here in Nevada. Most of them are in Clark County, which is where Las Vegas is located at. But anyway, it's just crazy. Isn't it crazy? It feels weird. I went out yesterday to Whole Foods. It's the first time I'd been to like the organic grocery store, because it's not super close to my house. And it was literally like you're driving. It's like zombie apocalypse style, like so creepy, so strange and surreal. So I'm really grateful to live in Nevada. Colorado, which is where my home state, where I'm from, and most of my family is still there. Shout out to BNS, it's your birthday, 46, holler, happy birthday. And Colorado, it's like 5,000 people that have coronavirus or something, and I was shocked that they've let it go so bad. A lot of my friends are texting me and letting me know, like, not everything is completely shut down there. And then one of my best friends from elementary school, shout out to Nikki. Every once in a while she comes on here. Nikki is getting married, I think, this weekend. She was texting me. She lives in Texas. And, which reminds me, I forgot to text Josh back. Sorry, it's just random. Nikki told me that she had to cancel her wedding. She's still getting married. She's having about 6 people be involved with the wedding. But she made homemade custom face masks for her bridesmaids. And they're going to take, so it's literally 6 people. That's it. 6 people are going to the wedding. And then, cause she didn't want to like totally delay like having a big wedding, or, you know, she's going to redo the big wedding later. And they're going to take photos, like quarantine photos with the face masks. And they have measuring tapes to hold like 6 feet apart from each other. They're going to take wedding photos like that. So I was like, you know what, girl? Like, I've known her since I was like 3 or something. I was like, I'm so happy that like you're not letting this ruin, you know, your like life and getting married. She's been with him for years now. So I'm going to see if I have her permission to share those photos. But I won't do that without her permission, just because I think now you guys see where, like, who I grew up with, we all have, like, a dry, sarcastic sense of humor, you know, like, try to, I guess, have humor in the darkness, if you will. New York, yes, Emma just said New York. Oh, man, New York's so bad, guys. New York's the worst state so far right now. I think there's, like, over 100,000 cases in New York. New York is not that big. It's a pretty small state, especially comparative to, like, I grew up in Colorado and Nevada. So it's just shocking to see how everything's gone so downhill so fast. It's just insane. So just stay home and chill and, like, don't get the coronavirus. And speaking of that, I feel like that's a really good segue for me to get into my chat. So this is not, I mean, there is a personal paranormal experience that I had last week that I'm going to share. So I guess there is a little bit of paranormal involved in me talking today. So I'm going to tell you guys kind of what happened. In order to tell you guys health-wise what happened, I sort of have to back the truck up to last year. And then sort of go from there, because it's kind of a scenario. So, and I'm not going to bore you with details. So basically, you guys know last year, Ghost Girl Diaries shot the pilot that we're trying to get sold at the moment. And in the midst of that, I missed some deadlines getting them to. Sorry, if you hear anything, it's an ice bag. I have an ice bag on my foot. In the midst of that chaos of like shooting the pilot and going into post production and stuff, my mom got sick. It was kind of unexpected, and my dad had gotten sick, and like in 2018 ended up having his knee down amputated. Diabetes, didn't take care of himself. Terrifying to witness. He was actually unconscious at the time that he went into the hospital, and I am his only like next of kin. So I had to make the decision to amputate his leg to attempt to save his life, and that was like a damaging decision I had to make, but I took lessons from it of like, you need to get healthy and get like your life on track health wise, because you don't want to like have these burdens of genes and genetics from your parents, right? And then fast forward, my mom got wasn't doing well in June of 2019, so almost a year ago. She was not feeling well, and she was rushed into the hospital for not quite cardiac arrest. They were like, it was basically she was about to go into cardiac arrest at any moment. My mom has had heart problems in the past, and she had one of the best cardiac surgeons, thank God, in Nevada / Clark County. And they had to do a triple bypass on her heart, and this was in June. And she was in the hospital for like a week, and then she ended up having a few more surgeries after that. And basically, you know, it kind of comes down to realistically not taking care of your health and having degenerative problems, not only gene-wise and hereditary-wise, but also like my mom has diabetes, right? And when you have things like that, you have to take care of yourself, because you're like looking down a real dark path if you don't. And I've witnessed it now with both my parents, right? So basically, I had already had somewhat like of an eye-opening moment when I watched my dad pass, right? When he lost his leg, I was like, okay, this is not going to be Krystal. Krystal's not going down this path. Like, no, I'm going to go there. And then as far as my mom went, that was an even bigger eye-opening moment, because I'm an only child, and she's my only family. I'm very close with her. As a single mother raising me, of course you're going to fight and like annoy each other, but at the end of the day, she's still my mom, and I didn't want to see anything happen to her. But when she finally made it through all these little like surgery procedures, I was like, okay, Krystal's turn to like get on top of your shit. Not that I don't have anything wrong, you know, like I've never been like diagnosed with anything per se yet, which is why we're preventing that, right? So I went on this like super health kick of like eating extremely healthy. I ended up getting an allergy test done, an allergy blood test done to see what I was allergic to, which I found out that I'm like highly, horribly allergic to milk. So I'm like cutting all the milk products out, and just like really like putting me first. Like it was sort of my last step to self-care. Like I talk about that to you guys a lot. I preach like meditation and yoga and exercise a lot, but that was sort of my last step, was like actually implementing it daily in my life. And I started it last year. I'd always been one of those people where I would like be on and like work out and do this, and then I'd like fall off, and then work out and then like fall off. And I was like, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to do this again. So long story short was, in September of 2019, I basically had noted issues that particularly my grandmother and my mother had gone through genetically, which is all related to heart, stroke, veins, circulation. Like it's 100% hereditary on that side, on my mother's side. My grandmother was full-blooded Cherokee Indian, like literally lived on the res, and Native blood is known for having like cardiac issues. Native Americans are also known for having diabetes, because they call it the white man's sugar, gets them, because they're like literally Native Americans' bodies and bloodline cannot process sugar, which was basically brought over by, Europe, right? Like European food, which is why so many Native Americans end up getting diabetes. So I was just like, okay, I'm just done. Like, I'm not even doing this anymore. Like, I'm going to play this like game of chicken. So in September, I went and started doing some like major preventative care for myself, particularly, and this is going to be FYI for anybody watching, like, I'm not going to go into like gruesome descriptions, but there's going to be like some medical terminologies here. So if you can't digest it, then don't be here. It's like my one and only warning, right? So basically, I went into some preventative care, and I had been developing varicose veins in one leg, which is my right leg. I was a cosmetologist for 15 years or something like that. And they warn you also in cosmetology school that if you stand on your legs too long, it can cause, circulation issues and vein problems, which when you're a stylist, you're on your feet like 8 to 14 hours a day. And I did that for years. So that probably didn't help on top of like my genetics. So anyway, I had been starting to have like varicose vein pain sort of in my right leg. My left leg doesn't have any problems yet, thank God. So I started looking into vein treatments and found out that it's kind of a preventative way to take care of yourself. Like my grandmother had a stroke, right? My grandmother had varicose veins. My mom has varicose veins. Basically what a varicose vein is your vein over time gets twirly, sort of like this. It's sort of like a noodle, I guess. And the blood flow cannot go through easily through your veins. And it causes circulation issues. And I had felt that for a while. Like I knew I was having some circulation issues, and most people just ignore it, right? Like, oh, I'm in my early 30s, like, just ignore it, you'll be fine, like, you're young, you're good to go, you've been on, like, a healthy lifestyle change for, like, a long time. But I was like, it's just not good enough. Like, I need to get rid of these, I don't want to ignore them. So there's ways that they do it, and here's, FYI, a little bit of, like, a TMI moment of if you can't handle, me talking about medical terminology. They basically inject your varicose veins with like a foam, and it ends up like dissipating into your legs, but the foam forces the veins to go straight again, basically. And it stays in your vein for like 6 to 8 weeks. So I was going to have the procedure done, and I did. I had the procedure done in September, and I noticed the very next day after I had the procedure, he did several injections. I did research a doctor, or what I thought I had researched a doctor. And he did several injections of the foam. But I noticed the next day after the foam, you have a hard time walking for the first month or two already. But I noticed I was really having weird foot pain the very next day. And I had gone back to the doctor, and I had expressed this to him. At first, he was like, the first 6 or 8 weeks, you're going to have weird pain. You're going to be fine. It's going to be okay. And so after the 8 weeks, I was still having this weird pain. The only way I can really describe it is I would wake up in the morning, and usually I would my routine in the morning is I let the dogs out, I go shower, I get dressed, I work out, right? That's my routine. And I'd have to hobble to the shower because it felt just my foot wasn't working. Is the only way I can describe it. And I felt like I had to literally warm it up with the shower hot water in order to be able to walk normally for the rest of the day. And I had described this to the doctor, and I'd been telling him I just think something's not right, and he just kept saying, well, you need to lose weight. You need to do exercise. And I've been hardcore. You guys know I'm posting about exercising constantly. And so anyway, fast forward, I knew something wasn't right. And then 2 weeks ago on a Friday, so it was in March, we'd already been in quarantine, for a minute. I woke up on a Friday morning, and, did my little routine, let the dogs out, go to the shower. Usually by the time I get out of the shower, the foot pain is gone, and the pain was not gone. I could not get rid of it all day. And I just knew something was wrong. Like, I called Kat and I was like, I am concerned. This is not getting better. And she's like, watch it, just watch it. And it just was like so weird, because from Friday to Monday, so like literally over the course of 4 days, I went from like limping to not walking. I was like not walking at all by Monday. And I ended up going to Las Vegas is known for not having the best emergency rooms. And the reason is because tourists, right? You get like drunk people, and like, so the doctors just get annoyed, and they just, even if you're a local, they just don't want to deal with you because they're used to idiot tourists like drinking themselves to death, or like, getting in fights or whatever, doing stupid things. So I went to an emergency room on that Sunday, and the doctor had said, you definitely are having like a circulation issue, but I don't really know what it is. I can't really fix it here. And so basically he sent me home with muscle relaxants, like muscle relaxer medication. And so I took those for like a day or two, and by Tuesday I still was not walking. And like my foot was swollen, it didn't look right. So on Tuesday, I decided to go back to the ER, except this time I was like, I'm going to try a different emergency room and see if I can get a different doctor that will like actually listen to me, like see that I'm limping and I can't walk very well. And so I go to that emergency room, and they did like an ultrasound on my leg, and they're just like, this doctor was like an ass. And I understand the coronavirus is going on. He was just, I think they're burnt out, because of the coronavirus stuff. And he was like, I think you just have like rheumatoid arthritis in your foot. And I was like, how do you just develop that overnight? Like literally, like that doesn't make sense to me. And then he was like, oh, well, maybe you have gout. Maybe you have gout. And I was like, I don't even, like, gout is triggered usually by like meat, which I don't eat meat. And it can sometimes be triggered by milk products. Like I'm allergic to milk. So it was like, what are you talking about? He wouldn't listen to me. That doctor, so I told him, I was like, I literally can't walk. I have an appointment with a vein doctor tomorrow. I'm in so much pain. How am I supposed to walk into the vein doctor? Like, I need an answer. He pats me on the shoulder and tells me, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And I was like, so it's clearly he thinks I'm like making it up, but yet my foot is like a club foot, swollen red and purple. Like, it's hideous, And so I was like, this guy isn't going to listen to me. So he did give me some pain medication, which once again, that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to know like what's wrong with my leg. You know what I mean? The only thing he could tell me was he did an ultrasound and there's no blood clots, and that was it. So I was like, okay. So the next day, on a Wednesday, I go to the vein specialist, not the same one that I went to for the injections. Okay. I go to a different vein specialist, and I tell him everything that has happened. And he tells me that he has seen a lot of this other doctor's patients who've basically been botched. He doesn't do procedures correct, and he's had to correct his procedures several times. And he thinks that any reviews that he has online or whatever are like fake. So I was pretty shook by that. So he did a ultrasound on my leg, and that's when I finally got an answer that my arteries are okay, thank God, because none of the injections went in the artery. Basically, arteries, you have two main arteries that run down each side of your body, and they carry blood to your feet, right? Your feet are the furthest part away from your heart, which is why if you have like a foot cut or a foot infection, it's so important to get in, because it's the hardest to heal because it's the furthest away from your heart. It's the furthest from like proper blood flow, right? So what was happening was my arteries were carrying blood to my feet. Once again, my left leg's fine, okay? It's like totally fine. It's my right leg. The artery was carrying blood to my feet, but for some reason, my veins were not carrying the blood back out of my feet, which is what was causing my foot to swell and look like a club foot, and I literally couldn't walk. And like literally my foot was like red and purple. So he's like, the vein doctor is like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So what caused this? Here's the fun part. basically, the doctor who botched my leg did not correctly inject the foam into my veins. He should have been using an ultrasound machine as he was doing the injections, because you can literally see through the leg with the ultrasound machine. He didn't do that. He just injected me blindly. And what ended up happening was he missed the spot he was supposed to put it and put it in one of my larger main veins. And that vein is starting to like completely close, basically, is what's happening. So there's only a few treatments for that. So that day, the vein specialist was like, he gave me a bottle of medication. I have really good insurance. I'm just going to say that. I'm very lucky. I have really good insurance. But he was like, your insurance isn't going to cover this medication. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, my insurance covers medication, you know? He's like, not this medicine. This medicine's like $4,000 or $5,000 bottle of medication. I was like, what? So he's like, don't worry, I'm just going to give it to you. And it's this special vein medication that basically helps open up the veins, and it produces proper blood flow. It also is an anti-inflammatory, but it's specifically for veins. So he gave me that, which I was grateful for. And then he told me I needed to put on a compression stocking on that leg. So what a compression stocking does is it's very tight on your leg, and it forces arteries and veins to open because your leg is so tight that it's forcing blood flow to happen. So basically he's like, wear this stocking for a month and it's going to force the vein to open back up, hopefully, and you're going to be okay. But you have to wear it, you know, don't wear it to bed because that can cut off your circulation. But within 20 minutes you wake up, put the stocking on, wear it till you go to bed, take it off, do it for 30 days. I was like, okay. So that was on Wednesday. So on the Wednesday, I go home, I put the stocking on. I was like making you guys laugh. A bunch of you were messaging me on Instagram because I was like, oh, isn't this like the most sexy stocking like you've ever seen in your life? And so anyway, I did that for like a day and a half, okay? And then on the next day, I have it on. And all of a sudden, so this is like Thursday. This is like Thursday night. I am having like the most excruciating pain I've ever had in my life. And I can't even explain how bad it was, to be honest. I'm a female. I can say that I have had in the past a few ovarian cyst bursts. Those feel like you're gonna die. When you have an ovarian cyst burst, feels like your like lady parts are exploding. This was not even close to what an ovarian cyst feels like. The pain in my leg was, I was literally like, I'm ready to go. Like if I have to live with this pain, like I'm ready to go. So I took the stocking off because I was just like, something's not right. You know, like holding with my circulation, something's not right. So I took the stocking off. I had my foot elevated. I was off of it. I had an ice pack on it. I was doing everything, you know, the doctor said to do. He said maintain it with, you know, ibuprofen 2 and Tylenol for pain. And I was doing that every 4 hours like clockwork. And it wasn't getting better. It was not getting better. So by Thursday night, I am literally rolling around on my bed in so much pain, I can't even see straight. And once again, I've never felt this kind of pain in my life. I wish I could describe it. I don't even know if I have a word for it. Literally felt like my leg was going to explode, but clearly it was just, the circulation was fucked. I don't know what it was doing. I have no idea. It just wasn't working. So I'm writhing in pain. Like literally I was crying. I was coming in and out of consciousness for pretty much all of Thursday night. So this is where the paranormal story sort of kicks in. So I'm, you know, doing everything the doctor says to. I'm like refreshing the ice and I'm like staying off of my foot. And it's just, I can feel my foot is swelling worse, right? Like it's just getting worse and worse. And I just know it. And at this point, also, I'm going to be real. Sorry, I'm moving my ice pack again. I was hesitant to go back to an emergency room because now I've gone to 2 emergency rooms, right? And both times they basically told me to like figure it out on my own, right? So in my mind, I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? Like, if I go back to an ER, are they going to just say the same thing? Like that nothing's wrong and I'm making it up, and I'm looking at my foot and I'm like, it looks worse than it has and it's horrible. And so I literally, the pain is so bad that, and there's no way I can drive myself. There's no way I can drive myself to the hospital, right? Like I could have called for an ambulance, but I don't know. I can only say, like, when you're in that much pain, you're not here. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I was not conscious of, like, what was going on. Like, I was so enthralled with, like, hurting and not knowing what to do that I didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? So, Thursday night, I'm falling in and out of consciousness, literally. So I'm not, like, willingly taking a nap or going to sleep. The pain is so bad, I continually black out on my bed. And then I wake up, like, sweating because I'm like, where am I? And then I black out again. It just kept happening over and over again. And once again, I'm in so much pain that I can't think straight. I can't even think to get my phone and call 911. Like, I just can't think. So it's like, I think it was like 1:30 or 2:30 in the morning. And I obviously blacked out again from the pain. And it's going to sound so weird. And, like, I don't even care if you guys believe me or not. You know what I mean? So, like, take this as you will. You may not believe me. You might believe me. I want to say I was asleep and unconscious. But I was like, I could see the room, the bedroom, my bedroom is the only way I can explain it as. So was I so sick I wasn't actually unconscious or asleep? I don't know, because I was so out of it. And so all of a sudden, I, like, open my eyes. Once again, I don't know if I was awake or not. And all of a sudden, there is just a shit ton of people in my bedroom. I'm getting, like, emotional because it's just weird, man. It was like the most realistic paranormal experience I've ever had in my effing life. There's just people in my room, like, I saw Christian, who's one of my friends. I thought I could see my grandmother and my aunt in there. My grandmother passed away when I was 15. My aunt passed away when I was like 25. They're not close. Other people are close. It's almost like, I can only describe it as feeling like medical. Christian is my friend that passed away in 2015. He's closest to me, standing by the bed. They're communicating with each other, but I can't hear what they're saying. But I can see them, and I'm literally, like, thinking, am I dreaming this? Like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what is going on here? And they're like, all of a sudden I'm like trying to tune in. It's the only way I can explain it as, like, what are they saying? Because I can see, like, lips moving. I'm sorry, I need to get a drink of water because this is just intense as hell. I can see lips moving, but I can't hear what they're saying. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm trying to tune in, like, what the F are they saying? You know what I mean? Like, because this is going on. This is, like, lasting. Like, this isn't like a dream where you wake up hazy. Like, this in my mind is happening. Like, this is freaking happening. And so I'm like, what the hell are they saying? And all of a sudden I'm hearing this conversation, like, she's getting ready to cross over. And, like, she's, she wasn't supposed to cross over yet, but, like, she's getting ready to cross over. And, like, that's all I can hear them saying. And Christian, who's my good friend that passed away in 2015, he's, like, emotionally, like, mad. Like, he's, like, pounding his fist in his hand. Like, he's yelling at them. Like, and I can't hear him for some reason. He's, like, closest to me. Like, he's advocating for me. I don't know what he's saying. Almost like he's fighting them on saying, no, like, she's getting ready to cross over. So then I start panicking, right? And you guys are going to laugh at this. Do you guys remember, like, the last month or two, Kat and I have done some streams where we've talked about, like, UFOs and aliens? So now I'm like, I can't hear what they're saying completely. I can only hear them saying, like, she's getting ready to cross over. And now I'm realizing that, like, I'm tuning into their energy because I can't understand what they're saying. So I'm trying to feel out who they are. And all of a sudden I get this, like, sheer panic. You know that panicked feeling where you get flushed? I'm thinking that, like, these are aliens that are, like, around me because they don't look quite human, but they're not unfamiliar. I can't really describe what it meant. So I was just like, are these aliens? I was like, fuck, Kat and I talked about UFOs way too many times. I knew it was going to end up happening. The Men in Black showed up. Like, I was panicking, but I was still in so much pain. I couldn't move. I'm like sweating from the pain. Like, I'm just in agony. Like, it's horrible pain. And so all of a sudden, out of my right eye, once again, my foot is on this side. This is the bad leg, right? I see, the really clear thing that like totally freaked me out. Okay. This guy who also appears to like look or feel energy wise foreign, as in like alien wise, like out of this world. He rolls like this cart up to me with this like futuristic computer thing. And he's like inputting my information like I'm getting ready to cross over. And I'm panicked. Now I'm panicked. Like, he's like, I'm getting ready to die. Like, that's what the visions I'm getting. Like, this is time. And I'm sitting there and I was like, I literally out loud turned to look at like wherever this person was to my right. And I was like, I am not ready to go yet. Like, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm not ready to go yet. And all of a sudden I hear this guy, he like stops typing. He was bald, like completely bald. Looks over at me, and clear as day, he goes, like he's just annoyed with me. Like you're sitting here in agony. We're getting ready to cross you over, but you're saying you're not ready. So it was almost this message of do something about it then. So I literally jumped up so fast. Once again, I've been in pain. Don't care. Jumped up, went and got, and I'm like dragging my leg, putting clothes on, get in the car, drive my ass to a different emergency room. I was like, I don't know, but I'm not crossing over. I don't know. This weirded me out way too bad. And all of a sudden they all just disappeared. It was like it was gone. It was weird. It was almost like I was like in a different realm or something. It was really weird. The realms overlapped. It was so realistic. I told Kat about it. And I was like, I'm not even shitting you. So I drove to the emergency room. I ran every single red light. Nobody was on the street. I ran every single stop sign. I had to. I had this overwhelming feeling that if I didn't get to the hospital, I wasn't going to make it, is the only way I can describe it. I knew it. I just knew it. So I pull up to the hospital. I can't walk. I asked them to have somebody bring a wheelchair out, literally, and they wheeled me in. I told them how scared I was to come back to the emergency room because of the coronavirus that's going around right now. I was like, I have asthma. Like, they say people with asthma are susceptible. So they literally like dressed me from head to toe to keep me protected. They put gloves on me. I had like a little apron on. They gave me like surgical goggles. They gave me a mask. Like, I was totally, they were like, you're going to be okay. And they literally like in the car were looking at my foot and they're like, oh my God, like you're probably going to be rushed into surgery. Like something's wrong. So they rushed me in. I'm still in so much pain. Like, I don't even know how I got, like, I don't even remember getting to the hospital. By the way, I went to 3 different hospitals because obviously the first 2 I didn't have any luck at. I went to the third one. The third one is one that my mom had her cardiac surgery at. And so I was like, well, I trust those doctors, so let's try it. So I go in, have this wonderful doctor, thank God, it was a woman. And she was like, oh, honey, like you have like some sort of infection in your foot and it's bad. And so I was telling her everything about like the vein procedure and like, I don't know what's wrong. So finally I had some answers. So basically what was happening was my blood flow, my artery was taking vein to my foot. It was not bringing the blood back up to my heart. And blood was essentially pooling in my foot, and it was causing it to swell, and I couldn't walk, and the pain was excruciating. So I'm sitting there. They did like an x-ray, they did an ultrasound, like they did everything like in order that they're supposed to do. This is how bad the pain was, guys. I'm not one of those people that takes pain medication. Even if I'm prescribed it, I don't take pain medication. And the reason is that addiction runs in my family. You'll learn over time I'm one of those people that takes things to like a very extreme level. So I've seen my cousins go through massive addiction. So rather than me even try it, I'm like, hell no, just keep it away from me. So they decided to give me morphine. I was in agony. I was in pain. They gave me morphine and I was still in pain. That's how bad the pain was. And they were like, we can't give you any more morphine. Like, it could kill you. And I was like, well, yeah, please don't do that. But I was like, I want you to know, like, I can still feel the pain. I'm still in, like, horrible pain. So they're running all of these tests. I'm on morphine. I can still feel it. I, like, want nothing more than just to, like, pass out, honest to God. But I was trying to stay conscious and communicate, with the doctor and the nurses. So, as I'm sitting there for like an hour while they're running all these tests and I'm on morphine, my foot swells so bad that it looks like a donut has formed under my skin on the top of my foot. Now think about what a donut looks like. And so it was like there was no center and it was like around, and the donut on my foot was purple and red. It was like full on having like a blood hemorrhage in my leg, in my foot, okay? So now the whole staff's panicked. They're like, oh my God, like we're going to have to get her up to emergency. We're going to have to like drain it. We don't know what's going to happen, all this stuff. I was pretty much just like, whatever, just get the pain done. You know what I mean? So she starts administering IV medication, antibiotics, to try to take the swelling down. She's like, if you can try to sit here for like an hour or two to try to get the swelling down. Because I kept expressing, I just don't want to go into surgery during this coronavirus thing. I just don't. And she was like, well, we'll give it like 2 hours for you to sit here. And if the swelling doesn't go down, you're going to have to go into surgery. You have no choice. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do 2 more hours. I can do this. So now this time it's like 5:30 in the morning or something, like 4:30, 5:30 in the morning. And the swelling did go down, thank God. They ran a bunch of tests and all kinds of crazy shit on me, blood tests, everything. So basically I have poor circulation in this leg from the doctor who basically did a botched job. And it caused a massive staph infection in my leg. Now, most of the time when a person gets a staph infection, it's because they have like an open wound, right? So like a lot of times people that have surgical procedures done come out with staph infections, and the reason is like maybe an implement in surgery was dirty, or you can just get like a cut on your hand and you're not paying attention to like letting it heal, and you dip it in dirt or something dirty and it causes a staph infection, okay? Mine was not caused from an open wound. Mine was caused from poor circulation. So basically what happened was my body was treating my own blood like a foreign body, and it caused a staph infection in my foot. So moving forward, I've been on antibiotics for a few days, for like a week. Literally, I'm on like 2,000 milligrams of antibiotics a day. It's crazy. I've never been on such high, strong antibiotics in my life. Is it working? Yes. I can walk on my foot. I can wear a shoe. I actually drove today for the first time. So it is helping, but I don't think it's 100% yet. And I think the reason is because of that vein issue that I'm still having. So there's a chance they're either going to keep me on the antibiotics. I go back, I have like doctor's appointments this whole week, literally. They also might put me on an IV treatment of antibiotics for a few days to try to get rid of it quickly. Once again, because I've expressed being scared to be in the hospital, they said that they will send a nurse out to my house, thank God, because I just don't want to get coronavirus. And from there, on Friday, I go into a like vascular surgeon, and we will decide what to do. So it sucks because on one hand, the reason I did this procedure to begin with in September was I was trying to be preventative, right? I was like, oh, if I'm like way ahead of it and I've lost weight and I'm like eating healthy and like I've got my life together, man, I'm not going to face anything that my parents have gone through. The problem is that I had a shitty doctor, and he fucked up, and he injected it in the wrong vein. So long-term wise, I'm still not going to have the issues that my parents have had because I'm still being preventative. It just sucks that now I have to fix the problem that the doctor did, which was completely out of my control, right? Like, and trust me, I researched the doctor. I had no idea. So they're going to probably have to go in. The staph infection is not completely healing itself. After this long on the antibiotics, I should be showing a huge improvement. And for some reason, every night at 2 a.m., I wake up in bed throbbing pain again, like my whole leg starts to swell. So I go like a couple days where it's like getting better, and then one day like feels like I kind of went backwards again, you know? So Friday, if they can do the procedure as like an outpatient, which means I don't have to go to an actual hospital. They have sort of like surgery centers that the vascular surgeon works out of. If they can do the procedure in-house like that, I'm probably just going to ask him to go ahead and do it. And what he'll have to do is, I think I stay awake for the whole time, and they have to basically go in where that vein is sort of collapsed, and they have to reforce it back open, and that's it. So it's not really that bad. I think at this point though, I'd rather just face the surgery, get it over with, than continue dealing with swelling and pain. And obviously the medication I'm on is like making me sick. Like, it's so strong. I have to take this medicine every 4 to 6 hours, and it's just made me nauseous. I have to eat with it, which I have been, but it's just like I have no appetite right now because the medicine's so strong. I'm just being really adamant about not going back to the ER. So anyway, am I dying? No, sorry, you're not going to get rid of me that easy. Does this suck? 100%. This sucks. There's nothing I can do about it. I tried to be preventative. And I don't want this to scare anybody else from not being preventative. It was just a freaky, weird thing that happened. And, you know, I might pursue getting a lawyer and, like, pursue, you know, going after this doctor. But I guess right now the only thing I can think of is making sure I get well first. It's the only thing I can think of. And that's all that I need to think of right now. I talked to the nurses and staff that were working, you know, through the coronavirus, and I thought you guys would find it kind of interesting. One nurse in particular, she's like, I just like your energy. Like, I don't know what it is. She's like, I know you're in pain, but like, I really like your energy. And I was like, well, thanks. I'm like, I'm dying, but thanks. Let's hang out. So she was like, I was like, well, you know, I felt bad coming into the ER because, obviously, like, you guys are so overwhelmed with, you know, coronavirus patients right now. She's like, you know, the worst part about dealing with it right now is the people that come in that have anxiety, that are at home, which Kat and I have done it. You're reading through symptoms of coronavirus, and all of a sudden you've convinced yourself you have it, right? You're like, oh, I've got it. And she's like, these people come in and they're not sick, they're fine. But now we've had to like waste a test administering it to them. And they've also now exposed themselves because, of course, we have patients here that do have coronavirus. So not only like have you like wasted a test because she's like, literally, they have no symptoms. They've just overwhelmed themselves. She said she's had some people come in for like 3 and 4 tests. And I'm just like, because their like anxiety has gotten away from them. And she's like, but now you're like exposing yourself by coming in the hospital. She's like, and I was like, okay, well, it's hard, you know, it's confusing. I know a lot of people out there say you shouldn't get tested, and some people you should. I feel like if you're coughing really bad and having like the dry cough and the things that they're saying, you should probably go in. But she said the worst part is the people that have kind of convinced themselves in their own head that they have it and they have anxiety and they come in. They have like separate wards where I was at. Even though I went to 3 separate hospitals, the way they're conducting I was like, this is kind of cool. I get to be like reporter Krystal, like inside the scenes of like the coronavirus pandemic, you know? So basically they have split the hospitals into 2 sides. One is like where all the coronavirus symptoms or patients are going. And then the other side is where they're keeping people that don't, that don't have those symptoms, that aren't there to like seek out a test or whatever. So I'm really grateful that they are keeping it separate. The doctors, though, I should have, maybe I'll post it on Twitter right now, or I'll post it on Instagram stories so that you guys can see. All of the doctors that I continued to see were literally in like full on space suits. They had almost these like astronaut hazmat hats. I just posted it to Instagram story so you guys can see it. All of the doctors are literally using like an astronaut hat where they're getting oxygen, and you can't like cough in their face or anything. Like they're taking it very, very serious. So then when you see that, you're kind of like, wow, I should probably be wearing a mask if the doctors are taking it that serious, like in public. So anyway, that's where I've been. Obviously I usually do social media for GGD and like pre-planning for Kat and I to stream, and I just can't right now. It's not a priority. My priority's just been getting better, and the medicine's so strong that I'm on, and I'm assuming if I do get on the IV medication, it's going to be same strength, if not stronger. I kind of go through these phases where like I first take the medicine and I have that like queasy feeling where it's just don't feel good. Then I get really kind of like poopy and lethargic where I'm just like want to sleep. And then all of a sudden, like the last hour before I have to take my next dose, I'm like, oh my God, I can stream. I feel fine. I'm walking. And then all of a sudden I have to take my next dose, and it starts the whole cycle all over again. So for me to try and even stream right now, it's just not even an option at the moment. So that's it. That's all I wanted to share with you guys. It's really weird. I don't know why I got this all of a sudden, like why it happened now. The weirder part is that the day before I was in the emergency room on the Thursday I went to the emergency room, I was literally not able to walk. The next day on Friday, my mom had another surgery, and I literally couldn't drive her or take her. I couldn't even be there. Normally, I'm always like there for her surgeries, and it's the first time in my life I couldn't be there for my mom. So I think it's probably a little bit of a universal test too that's going on for me, which is last year I was busy taking care of everybody else and totally neglected myself, because my mom was so sick in and out of the hospital. And I really did learn an important lesson last year of like, you can't pour from an empty cup, like it's hard though, because I'm an only child. Like I don't have a sister or a brother to call and be like, I need some help, yo, like, So anyway, I have another doctor's appointment tomorrow. I have another doctor's appointment on Thursday. And then on Friday, I'll find out if I have surgery or not. Now, if I have surgery, I won't be fully under, thank God. It'll probably only take like 20 minutes for the surgery procedure. And then it's a matter of just coming home and making sure I'm resting and putting my feet, up and elevate them and all that stuff. So really weird. I don't know. It's really weird. Kat and I are just like, okay, I'm done with the lessons, universe. So also it was almost like the universe telling me like, you're on quarantine, bitch, have a seat. It's not like you don't have anything else going on. I'm like, okay, universe, I hear you. So that's where I've been. I'm sorry I've been absent. I hate that. I hate when I'm like, I was going so well. Kat and I were like doing the thing. And then all of a sudden I just like fell off the boat. And I was like, so many of you guys have been so sweet messaging me on Instagram and stuff. I appreciate it. I had one of you guys, I can't remember who it was. They were like, I think this is a mother's side issue. Like it was like someone that has intuition. And I was like, okay, yes it is. So I just hope after this, I don't have to deal with it anymore. Honestly, it's been horrible. I never would wish a staph infection on anybody in my life. Ever. It's horrible. The pain is horrible. Like, literally thought like my whole leg was like gonna fall off. So, and honest to God, it's so weird, but like not being able to walk for like a week put some shit in perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, you take advantage and you take for granted a lot of things in your life. And one of the things you take for granted is walking. And, like, it's scary to think, like, me, I'm young. I think I'm still young, and you can't walk. That's freaking scary. So I've learned to be seriously grateful, too, even though we're in the middle of this, like, weird pandemic and we're all stuck at home. And you just have to, like, change the perspective and look at things differently. That's it. It's been strange. It's been strange couple of weeks. Also happened really fast. Like, I know you guys know it happened fast because I've been talking about it on Instagram. It's so crazy how fast I went down, and there was, like, no control over it. It was, like, went down, and that was it. So, really pissed off at the first 2 emergency rooms I went to, though, that did not diagnose me properly, because I may not have been as bad if they would have checked for a staph infection in the first 2 hospitals. So, the good news was, well, that was what the problem was, too, was that I had the staph infection in my foot and in my leg. And my one vein doctor told me to wear the compression sock. So what happened was I put the compression sock on. It was promoting perfect blood flow up to my heart, which caused the staph infection to go up my leg. Where it was just my foot, now it became my calf and my foot. So yeah, I was like, this is great. This is great. It's going to be fine. It's 100% fine. So I just had to watch to make sure no streaks are going up my leg, because if they go to your heart, you can die. Obviously, the infection's going to your heart. So I'm sorry. Don't panic. Don't panic. I'm okay. I've been sharing a lot of, like, behind the scenes stuff of, like, I don't know. Like, look, I love social media, but there's a lot of fake people out there, and I just feel like sometimes it's good to share when you're not going through some of the best times. And clearly for me, I'm going through some weird things right now, and so I've just been talking about it on Instagram randomly. So Kat and I want to do some more streams soon, but she's been so sweet, and, like, she's like, Krystal, you just need to take a seat. You just need to have a seat. I'm really bad about taking time for myself, so it must be a universal thing of, like, okay, Krystal, if you're not gonna take a break, boo, we're gonna make you take a break. I don't know. All I'm saying is no more aliens in my bedroom, okay? No, I'm not crossing over, all right? Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what that was, but it was so real. That's all I could tell you guys. It was so real. Like, I'm not even kidding you. You could put me on a lie detector test. Like, I know what I saw and I know what I experienced, and they were literally getting ready for me to, like, cross over. So I'm glad we reversed that ship. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember literally out loud being like, wait a second. I have a life on YouTube. Like, I came far here. I didn't work for millions of views on YouTube for nothing for me to just cross over. I don't think so. My story is not over yet. Wait a minute, ho. I am not done. Okay? We are not done. Hold up a second. Plus, I think 2020, after this whole weird pandemic, is going to be one of the years for GGD. So that's where I've been. Everything's fine. Yeah, I'm probably gonna be on Instagram more, so just follow me on there and watch me on there. Thank you guys for well wishes. I love you all. Like, you guys know, everybody that came to Twitch, you know, during that adjustment, it was hard when I left YouTube, and I appreciate everybody that's just here, and the support that I've had has been, like, really, really overwhelming. This is just one of those random freak things that there's nothing I can do about it except getting it fixed. But which is why I'm gonna tell the surgeon on Friday, if I can go ahead and just get it fixed, I would just rather. So watch us on Twitter, obviously. Follow us on social media. Kat knitted some of the cutest freaking ghosts. I don't know if you guys saw them. She made, let me see if I can pull up Magic Loops. If you follow Kat, she's always posting stuff about her knitting business. She made pastel ghosts. Can you guys see those? They are the cutest freaking thing. And I was like, I want one. She's like, oh, don't you worry, girl. Like, I'm going to have all the colors. Like, so I was like, I think I need these pastel ghosts, like, in my Jeep. Like, I need to stick them to my windshield or, like, on the dashboard. So, anyway, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to talk. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. You know what I mean? I'm just going to talk it through. Especially, like, being stir crazy and being stuck at home, all of us. And I hope everybody's doing okay. We're going to get through this weird thing of coronavirus. People were like, oh my God, Krystal went to the ER. You got coronavirus. No, I didn't get coronavirus. Everybody calm down. Like, I was extremely cautious. I don't want to go back to the ER unless it's absolutely necessary. But also, I'm not going to cross over. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that was like what I got, the message that night. It was like, okay, boo, you don't want to go to the ER. Instead, you're going to cross over. I was like, no, I'm not crossing over. So I'll just take my ass to the ER and I'll risk the Rona. Okay, I'll risk it. And so anyway, I've been playing World of Warcraft a lot. We still have the Ghost Girl Diaries Guild. If anybody out there plays World of Warcraft, message me on Instagram and I'll get you the info for the Ghost Girl Diaries Guild, because I've been playing WoW because I can't do a lot. I'm sitting at my desk right now and I literally have my foot up on like a pink, like squiggly chair, and that's how I've been chilling. So anyway, appreciate you guys so much for everything, and wish I could tell you when the next stream is gonna be, but I can't commit right now to much. I did post to Instagram finally today, so thanks guys for being patient. I appreciate you all.